Hi, good morning, everyone. Today, we are in another episode of In Conversation with Bright Minds, and we have with us Ranadeep Datta. He is a data scientist, a statistician, a researcher, and he has done his master's in statistics from the Central University of Rajasthan, right? Welcome to the show, Randeep.
Thanks.
Uh,
I'm glad. I'm glad. I didn't expect like my short journey would be something to the juniors or the new young ones. Anyway, thanks for hosting this.
Great. Randeep, we'll begin by understanding a bit about your background. I understand that you come from a background where you have done your bachelor's in mathematical sciences and your
Great.
master's in statistics. So, how has your journey been so far? And, you know, we understand now that the the organizations they require more of data scientists. So how have you evolved from being a statistician to a data scientist?
I'll just start with my education right after my graduation. That is the first time I was introduced with the field of statistics, and at the time of applying for masters, I was not very aware of the data science field. So I enrolled for the statistics course, and as I was going through it, and I realized the scale and at the speed the data science field was booming. So during my course only, like there was a sister department in our school only that has a course of big data analytics, and from that course I did some of the audit courses with that particular program, and I got to learn how statistics particularly is the core behind all this data science. Like the concept, the things have been existing for a lot of long time, really long time, for like 150 years, but it came to the light when the computation powers were there for us to use it. So like I still believe that under the umbrella of data science there are a lot of profiles in the industry right now. I look at people doing a lot of things under the name of data sciences, but essentially why I feel confident about it, because I know the science going on behind it. And as on with time, when I added the tools required in the industry, I realized that this is how becoming a like being a statistician keeps you on a gives you a grip, a good hold over the field of data sciences. And yeah, after my masters I went out to explore. I am still curious where I want to go, and as I see every day, like there is no field that where we do not see the use of statistics or data sciences. So that's how I'm like, that's my motive till now, and I've been doing it. Like I've been jumping from uh, one field to another field right now to just explore and to find out, because data sciences is it's a skill, it's a domain, not exactly domain, it's a skill set that you have that you can apply anywhere. Like you just have to find something you really associate with and just try it out with. So yeah, till now, like in my last role, I did not expect that the transport sector can, like how hugely they use the science behind the data. It's huge. I never expected this, but as I dived in and I realized like there's a huge scope of people coming from my background, mathematics background, data sciences specifically. They have a lot of impact on these other sectors also. So similarly, I really want to explore more fields and domains and how I can contribute, and where I would love to contribute more and more.
So as you pointed out that in your last project, you were, analyzing something related to the transport sector. So, what exactly was the role there, and what tools were you using in specifically related to data science?
So in my current last role basically, we are developing a platform for the government, for the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway specifically. So this platform will enable the authority to assess highway safety. So basically, uh, coming to the point, we are developing models predictive models that will predict the number of crashes on highways based on several factors. So for this, so it's a whole, because it's a whole line pipeline of product. We start with data, raw data like crash data sets from the FIR reports, and we collect the road features, shape files. I've been using a lot of, I dealt a lot of geospatial data in my current role here, where basically the shape files, these are geocoded file, road networks. So we start with these files, and then we using these, we clean, process them. And the tools I was using for this was specifically Python and other tools, geospatial analysis tools like QGIS and all. QGIS and Python were the broadly used tools here. So we built this model throughout in Python, and then we deployed it to the website, to a platform that is hosted on a website. So in that transition, so my role quite pretty much I was I built the model, and then the deployment was supported by the other software developer team. But yeah, these were the tools, QGIS and Python basically. And fortunately, I was able to under the supervision of my managers, I was able to develop a new methodology. So basically, where we have insufficient crash data, regression models usually need a lot of data sets, historical data sets. So with these data sets are not easily available, so we developed a methodology where we can use insufficient accident data and develop these predictive models also. That I was doing completely in R, because R is, I feel like it's my home language for coding language, and it's best for statistical computing. I used R there. We used a lot of R markdown notebooks to document all this research, because it's parts of a research. So these were the tools, and there are other elements of the projects also, like urban simulation models, traffic simulation models, and very complicated economic model. So Python was pretty much, I was able to cover all these pretty much with Python. We used to demonstrate our progress to the government officials using reports that I was using Tableau to build on. Tableau is a very, I would say, cool software where you can use the data, mold it, and build a story that you want to tell, and it's very efficient in that. So yeah, these were the tools I was using heavily during my current last role.
Great. So, a lot of times when even I go ahead and I give guest lectures, students are always confused and they ask me, is one language sufficient or not? Is R sufficient or not? Or Python sufficient or not?
Right.
Or if they just learn data visualization, would they get a job or not?
Uh,
So,
I also get a lot of, like, there are freshers joining and coming out of colleges. I am always hit with these questions. What should, so I there are three specific things I tell them to do. So basically, there are three parts. Like first is data processing, and then comes data modeling, and then comes visualization, and other parts. So I always tell these are the three main parts where you need to focus. And first, for processing and handling the data, there is these you have to be able to extract data from data structures, several data structures. So SQL, MySQL, PSQL, any of the structured languages or the databases, you need to grip a knowledge on that. Any one of that, I just tell them any one of the languages, doesn't matter it's MySQL or PSQL, because end of the day they have a common base to all of them. So there is databases I suggest for SQL and PSQL. And then there comes data manipulation and processing. So Python, like, I was always doing all of the processing with R, but when I started doing Python, I found it a little bit much easier. There are little functions and inbuilt functions that help you really quickly do your exploratory data analysis and cleaning of the data. So Python or R, it does not matter, because end of the day, again, it's about the algorithms to develop. It's about the how you use the inbuilt functions. It's about your creativity. But end of the day, algorithms are same everywhere. So Python or R at that stage, but and after that, that comes your monitoring and visualization purposes, the results you have made. So for that, you can use Tableau, Power BI, or tools, packages like ggplot from R. These are beautiful tools for this purpose. R Shiny is there. You can do dashboarding in R Shiny. So yeah, in 3 stages, and you can choose your tool. It does not matter exactly what you choose.
Correct. So I think storytelling is equally important, because even though we have got the results, but if we can't show them to our client, and if many a times I feel that the clients don't understand Python, or they don't understand the language we write in. So unless we are not able to go ahead and display them the results and tell them a story about it, it's all it's all in vain, right?
Right.
All waste.
Right. That comes with the more time you spend with the domain, it gets easier for you to explain it to your client. You have to spend time with your domain, with the domain you're working on, with the data you're working on. You have to understand. So basically, you build a model. There are metrics, p values, standard errors, lot of values, but how to put them in front of the client so that they understand how precise your model is. You cannot just put a number like this is p value, this shows that our model is good. You have to explain how precise your model is as in compared to other models. So yeah, storytelling is a very important part, because without it your whole analysis is useless. The client would not understand the results. So yeah, that's important, and that comes with the knowledge of domain. I would like, that's the baseline for that.
And that is where I will come up with my next question. So as you mentioned that knowledge of domain is important. Now what usually happens is, as we jump from one project to another, right, the domain continuously changes. And many times people ask me, I am from a marketing domain. How do I go into a project in the healthcare sector, or how do I go into a project in the transport sector? So how do you adapt yourself to new domains? Like, for example, even for me, one project is in the healthcare sector, and the very next project is making a chatbot for the HRs, right? So how do you adapt yourself to changing domains? How easy or difficult that is?
So like, it is a quite difficult task, because as an example, when I joined here, I did not know anything about transportation. It was like completely new raw thing for me. But of course you will have someone in your team or surround. It is where you connect to people. It is where you, rather than disseminating knowledge, you try to gain knowledge from your team members and other people around you, other experts around you, and you have to play around with it yourself. Uh, like when I was dealing with the government officials here, so I was describing to them this regression model. I struggled a lot for the first 2 3 meetings, because I was completely giving them technical thing, and they were focused on the output. So with 2 3 meetings, I realized how to come on a same page with them. So I went through a lot of documents, and I actually read few civil engineering books, so that I can understand better what kind of terminology they use for the same thing. So when I say p value, it's a metric for me, but when I tell them to the client, I have to tell them this, it's a measure of precision. It's a not exactly measure of precision, but how you
Significance of the model.
yeah, how significance of a model. So that's how you convert your language, you translate yourself into the domain. So you have to make effort for that, you have to study for that, you have to connect to people for that. Fortunately, I always had, when I was working in my previous roles in the Supreme Court of India, I was working with lawyers. They helped me a lot. In my current role, I was working with civil engineers, transport modelers. They helped me understand exactly what they used to infer from the results they were getting from automated systems, and how I can convert them to their language.
Interesting. So one question that people usually ask is the role of internships
Yeah, yeah,
when you get the
yeah.
final job.
Definitely.
So
So
how important do you think are internship? And do you think that if so a lot of the times what do I see is a student from a data science background, just because he wants an internship, ends up doing an internship in the marketing background or in other fields, just because he wants it to do it from a good company rather than going to a startup, or rather than doing a short project. So how important does the role of internship come when it comes to final placement or in a job?
I'll be just honest. I also struggled a lot while finding a job, because they need experience, and you being a fresher cannot provide that until unless you must have something to keep yourself apart from the crowd. Internships are where you can where you can say that I have actually worked in a project. It may not be a significant impact what you have done, but you were involved in that project and you know how a life cycle of a project goes. So that's very important, and that's, I think that's what they look into you while you are being hired. They want someone who actually understands the process. You can build a lot of models in your thesis or your coursework, but if you do not know how, because when I entered the industry I realized there is no clean data in the industry. There is no such thing. And when you're in college you are just doing working on clean, very clean data. You just process it and this there. I was fed data using word files. So that's the reality, and when you face it you understand how you work with that. So scraping data from websites. Internship is all about the experience you hold while working with with other people. You're not going to build a life changing model all of a sudden, but you can become a part of a model. You can know how it goes from the first stage to the last stage. Apart from that, if you're talking about people just for the sake of it, of the big companies, they go into marketing and all. I would still say it wouldn't hurt if you go into marketing, but if you still keep your focus, like if you keep your focus related somewhere to data sciences. If you are even cleaning the data, that's an experience. You get to know about the data. I did not know about a marketing of data. I spent some time with some short projects just cleaning purposes. This has wanted some t-test, but that familiarized with me with the kind of data marketing is producing, market field is producing. So once you get grip of it's internships are very valuable, and you should get at least two internships during your graduation. You get familiarized, and apart from that it's a personality development also.
Right.
So yeah, definitely internships are very useful. I regret not doing more internships, and yeah, if this helps, I tell the graduates and those who are doing postgraduates, just go out there and do projects, lot of projects and internships.
Exactly. Okay. So one last question that I would like to ask you is related to the newer developments that we are having these days in data science and statistics. So we know that stats was initially a classical, it was an inference, right?
Right,
And from there, we have gone all the way to quantum computing, right? It has evolved a lot. So for the freshers, when they're studying, especially even if I go back to the university, they would still be doing courses which would have statistical inference, and you will still be talking about hypothesis testing, etc. But still I don't see a lot of courses, especially in the college, talking about these newer developments. So
right,
what is your take on the newer developments, and how should students develop these abilities which are not taught in college?
right. So I still fear that, like, I read somewhere a few days back there is a stage of statistics being involved. First was statistical inference, then modeling, and then came this predictive modeling, and then last finally we are quantum. So I still feel like, would I be able to catch up all this to reach that level? That's a challenge. And yeah, of course, our coursework in colleges does not offer that. What we can do there is, but I feel that I should have done more to attend conferences, and workshops, because you might not be able to actually work on some these quantum computers. These are like super expensive computers, you will not get them. But by attending these conferences you are aware of the updates that are coming up in the field. And about the if you really want, by attending conferences you realize this is something you are interested or not. And when you find some curiosity you pursue it, and you try to pursue it using doing by doing courses and all. I am still like working for 2 years, and I'm still searching for that find curiosity where I should channel in my focus. So it's a learning process, and even if you feel like you have been like there's a lot to catch up, and how would you reach that place? By doing your part, I think it's doable. And yeah, attending these conferences, there are a lot of conferences happening around the country. Even in your state also, there are a lot of professors doing groundbreaking research. Just attending them, it inspires you. It quenches the curiosity in you. So yeah, that's, I would suggest that attend these conferences, these workshops. They
I
disseminate
think
a lot
that's
of
a good
information.
point because I myself attended a 5 day workshop with an IIT professor. I mean, all this is completely new, even after working for so many years in the data science field, quantum computing, generative AI, chat GPT. These are all new evolving things. So it's a good
Right,
idea to go ahead and attend these conferences and do some workshops and take some courses online to go ahead and learn these new concepts.
right,
Because
right.
as you rightly mentioned, catching up is becoming so difficult with these things are evolving every day, right?
Every day.
So it
And
is becoming
somewhere
very challenging.
yeah, you feel like you need to do it all, but you do not need to do it all. As we develop, you need to learn the basics and evolve on it on your own pace. It does not have to, like, it's not a syllabus to be covered all of to
Absolutely.
reach that point.
Right. Yes. So any last suggestion, any last words for the students who are going to go ahead and sit for placement, or who are still doing their masters or
I
graduation?
like uh, I would what I have is like, don't let your curiosity die. Like, that's the only thing that will drive you in and out boring jobs if you get into fun. And that is the one thing that will drive you doing more and more every day. I That's like, I was the society, there's a societal pressure that tells you to get a job in a good company and do the stuff everybody is doing, earn money. The curiosity is the, like, for the first 3 or 4 years, I think you should be only curious about what kind of job you are going to do. Never go on the title of the job, always go for the job description. That's the most important thing. You can be holding any title. Even today there are a lot of people holding data scientist title, but they are just cleaning Excel files. And I'm not trying to discourage them, but it's not about the title, it's about the job description, what you are doing. So be curious about what you're going to do. Be curious how what you have learned in your coursework, how that can impact someone's business or something. That should be the aim, and that's how you should approach your career. And that's what I am doing. I'm still learning. That's how I am doing it. I'm just trying to be curious about the things. Look what kind of work I'm going to do, who are the people I'm going to associate with in the team, like other domains and all. That matters. That's my suggestion for the people coming up.
Well said. I think so that is what is actually important. And as you rightly mentioned, even if it is the role of a data analyst and not a scientist, if the
Yeah,
work is good enough, you should go for it,
yeah,
right?
you can do
Don't
a lot in any
distinguish
role.
for now,
Right, right.
right? I think so it was a very good session. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that the younger generation actually takes good points from this interview and it is useful for them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Arzu.
Thank you
And
so much for your time.